All right, let's connect. Make sure we got good connection here for our live stream today, November 13th, 2022. Wait for YouTube to catch up and everything there as well. My equipment screen here looks a little different, so I'm getting used to that. But yeah, so I started a little earlier today because I missed last week's, and I'll talk about that and a whole bunch more. So hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me know and just make sure everything is good because, again, my screen looks a little weird. For this, they updated the software, so just making sure we're good. But yeah, guys, so we got The Walking Dead. 11/23 was last week or this week on AMC. 11/24 is next week on AMC and AMC Plus. So I've seen a lot of people on just social media. They don't know, and they keep asking that it's like The Walking Dead finale is next week, and they're like, we gotta wait a week. Yeah. So AMC Plus members, they got a little behind the scenes filming thing of, next of the last season of The Walking Dead. I'll talk about that and as well. So I'm glad I'm back this week. So last week, really this whole week, a week ago from today, was crazy, and it's been crazy. We had a hurricane come through. My screen took some damage over my pool and I got to get that fixed, and just a bunch of the little craziness as well. So it's just one of those things where last week I wasn't able to do a live stream because my wife's grandmother died last Friday, and we had to go down to South Florida and be down there, and it was too much to come back Saturday and Sunday, so we left Sunday to come back Monday, and it was a whole craziness for it. And I wish it was better circumstances or whatever, and I didn't want to be away from the live stream because the series is going to end, and I wanted to make it so much to be here for you guys, and I apologize for being that, but I had to be there for my wife and my wife's family and everything, and I know the wife's grandmother, so it was a shame to be away, and I missed you guys, and I felt bad being away, and it was good to be. It was just a whole bunch of things, and then we had the hurricane come through on Wednesday, Thursday, and be out of here. It was just crazy, right? So everything is better now. Thank you, Jonathan Wilder. Says Q&A. How are you, Bri? Hope everything is good. Well, I'm feeling better now. I'm doing better now. Everything is just. It was just a lot going on. Work stuff. I had to go to. Go down to South Florida, miss a day, hurricane stuff, miss another day, work actually yesterday to make up for Thursday because of the hurricane stuff, because you don't want to be driving around in that. So, but we're back here now to talk about The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 23 and 24. Well, we could talk about all The Walking Dead if you want. I watched the behind-the-scenes thing, which was really good. I recommend checking that out if you haven't. They talk about mainly Season 11, but they do talk about the series as a whole, and I think it's like 42, 43 minutes or so. It's a good little thing, and you get to see all the cast, not Rick and not previous cast members. You see them in the clips of stuff, but you don't see them being interviewed. And it's cool to see, and it does have that feeling. It's sad that it was ending, and when I do my reviews, and thank you, Diane Brenner, for becoming a level 1 PT Peep. I truly appreciate that. It makes the channel continue to go and grow. We truly appreciate all the members and subscribers and patrons. We can't do it without you guys. We truly appreciate that. Ethan Q&A, do you think there will be a teaser from Dead City, Fear on Talking Dead next week? And also, will there be CRM in the next episode? So great questions, Ethan. I don't know what we'll see with Dead City. I don't know what they're going to do with that. They probably want to wrap up the main show and focus on the main show stuff. Like Dead City is spinoffs. That's next year. The future of that. Fear the Walking Dead is next year. Let's just focus on The Walking Dead, the final episode of the series. And I don't know. I've been saying everything about CRM. Like, we've been waiting for CRM connections. Like, CRM was brought to the show. We didn't make it up. Gimple and the writers and whoever brought it to the show. That's not the stuff that's there. Yeah, Mike, we'll talk about the spoilers on there too. We're going to talk about all that stuff. So we got 56 more minutes, and we got a bunch to talk about. 11:23 I'll talk about as well. But again, I'll keep it general for 15 minutes. Then we'll talk about the spoilers. We'll talk about all the different stuff there. But I've been waiting for CRM connections, because They brought CRM to us, and they've been teasing it and sharing it and having it and not, the Jadis connection, World Beyond was all about CRM, Fear the Walking Dead CRM. So it's the global thing that's been there. The Commonwealth is a big community. How would they not trade and share and connect with the Commonwealth? It doesn't make sense. That being said, we're still waiting for connections, and we have one episode left that looks to be 90 minutes total runtime. That's with commercials, is what they're saying. So I'm guessing it's going to be like 60 minutes, maybe like 62 minutes or something is my guess. I don't know the total runtime for the actual episode. The runtime of the actual commercial time and all that stuff is about 90 minutes. So you say about a half hour for commercials, leaves about an hour for the episode. So we get an extra 15 to 18 minutes because a lot of the episodes are 42 to 45 minutes. So that's usually what it is, right? So if we get an extra 15 minutes, we'll take it. Even though a lot of us want, an extra half hour, if we got 90 minutes of actual episode, that'd be great, but we'll have to see. Jonathan Wilder, did you watch Crown Jewel? No, I did not watch Crown Jewel. I didn't watch it at all. That was kind of the craziness with the weekend stuff, and I know the stuff with Jake Paul or was it Logan Paul? I don't know. It was Logan Paul, right? Logan Paul is actually the wrestler there. So it's definitely something that I have not kept up with wrestling whatsoever. I did keep up with the UFC 281 last night because I like some of the fighters, and it was cool to see some of that. Someone like Frankie Edgar going out with a loss, but, he still was one of my favorite fighters growing up, representing New Jersey, and it's always cool to see that too. Ethan, 30 minutes of ads, wouldn't that be though too much? Not really. 30 minutes of ads is what they do. So it's not like 30 minutes of ads and then you see the episode. No, it's like you see 10 minutes of an episode and then 5 minutes of an ad and this and that. So if you already, I don't watch it on TV anymore. I watch it on, AMC Plus and without commercials. So I would assume it goes from 9 to 10 or 9 to 10:03 or something, right? So you have the hour. But when I watch the episodes, they're 42 minutes. So if it's 42 minutes and you have the hour block, that's 18 minutes of commercials from a normal episode. So you can easily get 12 more minutes of commercials in an hour and a half, a lot of time. But it's all right. It's not a big deal. Who cares? We're going to watch it. We're going to enjoy it, or we're going to hate it. It's going to be with commercials, or you watch it on AMC Plus without. I don't know how they're going to do the simulcast of AMC with commercials and AMC Plus without. Because if they both start at 9 o'clock, the commercials will definitely end before it. And I guess it doesn't matter. But the live event is supposed to be, I believe, in Los Angeles. Kind of what they did for Season 7, Episode 1. With it was raining and everybody was there. And there was some, outdoor place for a live event. And I believe that's the same day on, November 20th. Which would be pretty cool, too. Jonathan Wilder, are you ready for January 15th, 2023? I'll give you a hint, HBO. January 15th, I know what you're talking about, John. It is Last of Us. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Last of Us. I hope it's good. I hope it's awesome. I hope it's amazing because the video games are good. The first one's awesome. The second one, it's all right. But the first Last of Us game is great. I hope Pedro Pascal and Bella something was her name. Or I forget her name. But the other one from Game of Thrones. I hope that she is going to be awesome as Ellie and Joel, and it's great, and I hope it is. Is it HBO missing the boat with The Walking Dead? Because hopefully you guys know that NBC and HBO had a chance to get Walking Dead. They were approached by that. And actually in the behind-the-scenes stuff, you hear interviews with Denise Huth, Angela Kang, and Greg Nicotero, and Norma Reedus, and all these people. Denise Huth said that they bought the rights to The Walking Dead in 2005. It took 5 years to get the episodes on TV. So they had the rights. They went to NBC. They said no. They went to HBO. They said no. They went to AMC. They said yes. So they had the 6-episode pilot that they were going to film, and they did all that, and they didn't know what it was going to be. Like, I would assume when you make TV shows and movies and whatever, especially if it's kind of a niche thing like The Walking Dead and zombies and stuff there, they kept saying that they don't think it's going to be that big. They didn't know what it was going to become. Now, watching it in real time or watching it, like I started watching it on TV on the 3rd season. The first 2 seasons, I didn't have cable. Then I got cable around season 3, and my wife and I watched the first 2 seasons back to back right away. And then season 3 was coming on, and then it kind of stunk to watch it with commercials and had to wait a week and stuff when we were just watching it back to back to back, the first 2 seasons. And we fell in love with it. And I remember talking to a patient, I'll never forget it, about The Walking Dead. And I was like, I really don't watch it. He's like, oh, it's good. The comic is better than the show, and the main guy, Rick, actually loses a hand, and it's so much more graphic than the show, and it's this and it's that. And then we started watching it more and more, and he was, sold me on it. I remember just talking to him about it, and then I love talking to patients about The Walking Dead, and then turning into this channel, and is there as well, too. So Firefly60 says, can you imagine what it would have been like on HBO? Yes, I think HBO would have done a great job with The Walking Dead because you couldn't have to worry about all the restrictions and the cursing and the language and the violence and the nudity and all that stuff. It would have been a far more, crazy, vulgar, over the top, crazy show. I don't know how to explain it. I just think it would have been better in some aspects, even though AMC did an amazing job with what they were given. And I feel like the last part, mainly these last 8 episodes, they're dropping F-bombs and S-bombs and all this stuff. Negan's cursing, Mercer's cursing, this guy's cursing. They're all cursing. They're like, we're going out. Who cares, man? It's the final part. Let's do it. F this, S this. It's just crazy. And it's fine. I'm fine with it. Please, I'm from New Jersey, so curse all the time. I try to avoid that on YouTube because you never know who's watching it, but I just hope Last of Us is great. And I'm just glad that AMC did an amazing job. And, watching the behind-the-scenes stuff, it's sad. It takes me back to the previous seasons and the previous cast members and where they've been and where it was. And it felt sad watching it because it's ending. But all good things must come to an end. And this last part feels rushed. And Angela Kang and the writers' room, they actually addressed that. They actually talked about it a little bit because it was basically thrown to them to finish it, right? It's crazy to think that The Walking Dead probably should have been a 12th season, but they decided, AMC executives, producers, whoever, I don't know, people from the top said, we're going to do 24 episodes, season 11, that's going to be it. When it probably should have been season 11, 16 episodes, season 12, 16 episodes, and that's it. Because there was time and talk from different channels and articles and people and sources that season 12 is going to be the final season. And it's basically we're getting 11 and a half seasons. But those other extra 8 episodes could have done wonders. I don't know about you, but this last part feels rushed. Like you had the Reaper stuff. You had the different stuff with the Commonwealth, and then you had Leah, and you had Pope, and you had this, and you had that. And then all of a sudden, it's like, boom, boom, this and that. Okay, get rid of this character, kill Lance off, Sebastian's gone, Eugene's trial, over here, and then we got to wrap it up. Done. And we're like, what? It just seems everything's happening so fast, and it's hurting the show. This last season, I don't think it's going to hurt the legacy of the show unless they did some drastically stupid thing in the final episode. And then the spinoffs are just hurting the show too. When Negan was in front of the windmill and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna die for you guys," basically. Not once did I think he was going to die because of the spinoffs. We know he's going to be safe. And if we didn't know the spinoffs, if they weren't greenlit yet, if they didn't think it was going to happen, we'd be like, oh man, Negan's going to step up. But we didn't have to worry about that at all. We could have worried about Annie and Ezekiel and whatever, but everybody survived. And the way I'm looking at it, too, is every season, except for season 11, was like, who's going to die? Who's going to live? Who's going to say? Anyone's on the table. You can take out anybody, right? You can take out Rick. You can take out this. Skusel's 16. Sorry if I say that name wrong. What do you think B-17 will be? B-17 was the Walkers. So B-17, Pamela Milton said on the radio, I think she said order B-17 or release B-17. It was the Walkers that are going to the community, to the Commonwealth. That's what I took it as. So, all right, guys. So that's the 15 minutes there. Talk about general stuff. Let's talk about 11:23, 11:24, behind-the-scenes stuff, and the potential spoilers as well. So if you don't want to know exactly releasing the horde that came towards the Commonwealth, that's actually going to be the demise of Pamela Milton. People are part of the Commonwealth residents are going to, be taken out, and it's just going to be a bad move by Pamela Milton, that's for sure. So I want to talk about 11:23 a little bit because I missed it last week. So again, if you haven't seen the episode, spoiler warning, spoilers, stop watching now, spoilers. So 11:23 it's a good episode, and all the episodes have been good. It's just like some stuff doesn't make sense to me. Like, they're at Alexandria. We don't see baby Coco, but we see Herschel, RJ, and Judith. Judith does her narration thing again like she's been doing. And they're taking all their weapons out of the stuff, and Judith puts her katana on her back and her pistol, her revolver, sorry. And so they're building it up like she's going to do something, and then RJ comes in, and Judith puts the hat on RJ, continuing the Grimes, hat stuff. And later on in the episode, towards the very end of the episode, Judith gets shot by Pamela Milton. So it continues with the Grimes people getting shot, right? So Rick got shot, Coral got shot, now Judith got shot. They've all survived it. Will RJ get shot? I doubt it, but better watch out, RJ, right? So the other thing is that when Judith gets shot, she knocks Maggie out of the way to save Maggie, because the guard that's with Pamela Milton in the Union Station, the train station, gets shot. Pamela Milton picks up the rifle. She takes it, and I guess she's aiming at Maggie, because Maggie is standing there, and Judith runs and pushes her out of the way. She could have tackled her. She could have yelled. She could have done anything, but she pushes her out of the way and gets shot in the upper chest by her left shoulder and falls to the ground. The world stops for dramatic effect. I don't think it would stop at all in the real thing, but it's for drama. And so it makes sense that everyone slows down. They can't believe it. Pamela Milton can't believe what she did. She's like, you did this. And then they shoot the rest of the guards, and then I guess Pamela Milton gets away. And Judith is rescued by Daryl. They escape the Union Station, and they get away. But that's a turning point that I think is going to set up the Maggie and Negan show a couple different ways. So Maggie was supposed to get shot, but Judith stepped in the way. Boom, and pushed her out of the way and gets shot. We all know Judith's going to live, right? There's no way that Judith dies, because she's one narrating the story, and she can't go out that way. So in 11:24, we see Daryl go to the clinic doors, kick them open. Help, I need help. I guess they collapse on the ground. I would assume medical staff gets there. Tommy will magically be there, operate, and save Judith. I think that Negan is going to go away. Like in the potential spoilers, he's seen going into the woods for some reason, or leading the walkers into the woods, probably with the Whisperer skin mask, I'm guessing. But I think that Judith is going to convince Maggie or tell Maggie somehow, some way, and Maggie's going to go help Negan, because I think Judith likes Negan, right? Judith knows what Negan is, but not really like everybody else does. So I think something's going to happen there because Judith saved Maggie's life. I think that something's going to happen with that, and then Maggie's going to go there. It's just a guess. It's just a hypothesis, and I like the theory that's going around for that. I'm kind of buying into that too because we don't know why Maggie and Negan are going to New Jersey, New York, unless it's for CRM, Herschel, Annie, something like that, right? We don't know if Annie survives or not, but she's very much alive, even though she should be at Alexandria. And in 1123, our group took control of Alexandria, right? So we know that our group left Alexandria to go to the Commonwealth. Judith goes with Daryl, Carol, and our group. She takes the ledger, the charter thing with all the group in the agreement, and that'll be a new charter. Add the Commonwealth to it, and that'll be another community as well. And so Judith should have never left Alexandria, obviously, right? There's just no way. Hey, Doreen. But she should have never left, but she came along because she wanted to, she should have never left Alexandria to go attack the Commonwealth because it's not safe. And she got shot and she was there. But it was something that had to happen for the drama and stuff. And I'm not mad at it. It's just, they're doing a crazy situation with Judith, who's 12 years old. I mean, like, how old is Judith? And she should not have gone into a war zone for it. But they go there, and I don't know who was left back at Alexandria to guard it. But since Lance is gone, which I would assume we'll see him as Walker Lance in 1124. Maybe he's even a variant. It's just, I don't know what happens with Annie because Annie should be safe and sound at Alexandria. But there could be a problem or a trouble with the pregnancy. And from all the different things I've heard in the interviews with Norman Reedus, Lauren Cohan, Melissa McBride, Greg Nicotero, there's like an Entertainment Weekly article, going around. And Norman Reedus jokingly says, everybody dies. So it's like everyone, it's spreading like wildfire. There's a couple things that are spreading like wildfire. The news that Norman Reedus said that everybody dies. Yeah, right, like everybody dies. Like Daryl dies, Maggie, Carol, Negan. We know not everybody dies. More people are going to live than die. So Norman was having a little fun or whatever. Maybe in a dream sequence, everybody dies. Right? Just like Rick was dreaming and hallucinating that everybody saved him. But that didn't happen. It was a hallucination. So maybe that'll be in the episode, but it's a hallucination. I don't think everybody's going to die. And then they're talking about things of moments of greatness and sadness, and the music's going to be great. Also, in the episode, they have an orchestra for some of the music in the episode. Don't get me wrong, that's probably cool and it's going to sound great, but put the money somewhere else. The music has been fine a lot of times on The Walking Dead. Some music choices have been bad and some of this, but the audio and the sounds and everything have been great. I don't know. Christy asked a great question. Q&A, where is Dog? That's a great question, right? So the last time we saw Dog was a long time ago. They mentioned him, that the Commonwealth took Dog. I would assume we should see Dog in 1124. But what I think is that Dog, I think the dog is named Seven in real life. That Seven, with the Commonwealth and a lot of stuff going around, it would have been far too much to have the dog acting with all those people around, all the chaos on there too. Because if you think about it, Dog really hasn't been around a lot of action, a lot of stuff, a lot of craziness. It's been a controlled environment. When we saw Dog, he was in the woods with Daryl. We saw Carol, we saw Henry, and we saw Walker. We saw Dog with Connie in a room or in a building with some whisperers. It's been controlled. In the Commonwealth and stuff, Dog's been in a room in a house with Carol. So it's definitely something there too. Bam Bam's boys. You can post anything here too. You can post some of the potential spoilers. I have them in a video. We're going to talk about it too, and it's in the title. And I did the spoiler warning. So if you want to post any of the potential spoilers, thank you for asking though. Bam Bam's boys. That's nice to have that as just making sure it's okay too. So, but the other big thing that happens, well, there's two things in 1123, is 1, Judith gets shot. 2, Lydia gets bit, loses her left arm. Or left forearm, I guess. Kind of like, it reminds me a lot of Tyrese when he was bit there on the forearm, and then Michonne chopped it off, and Jerry chops it off there too. She awakes in there, but we don't know what happened with Elijah. He got swept away by the wave of walkers. Jules and Luke got swept away by the same wave of walkers, but they met up with our group in and around the Commonwealth. Aaron is with Lydia, and Jerry went out on his own. So we don't know what happens with Jerry there. The other thing is that the variant walkers basically get into the Commonwealth. Mercer gets arrested for treason. I hope he has some big. I hope he gets broken out by Princess of jail early on in the episode, and then we can see him get his troopers, get his act together, get his stuff together, and just, like he said at the end of the episode, get some stuff done. We'll just keep it, PG there. He didn't say that, but, So I hope he gets more time for the story and more there as well. Because we're running out of time with Mercer. And Mercer, to me, is the best new character. And I want more of the guy. When characters were brought to the show, they had time to develop. Eugene, Rosita, Abraham, Jesus, Aaron, Sasha, Tyrese. They had time. There's more than enough time to Noah, Enid. So many characters came in, Beth. And we just don't have enough time with Mercer. I just feel like we need more Mercer. Anybody else? Do people agree with that? Do you agree we need more Mercer? Let me know in the comments too. I like Michael James Shaw, and I like the actual actor, and I like the character too. I think it's a pretty cool thing. Let me see some of the questions here. Negan1 Q&A. Hey, Bri, how about doing a live stream watch party for everyone here Sunday night? Sunday night would be tough because I'll have to check my schedule for Monday. I want to be able to do something. I definitely would love to do a live stream with it. Maybe right after it or something. I don't know. It's something that I would love to do, but it's just tough to do on a on a Sunday for Monday with it. But I definitely want to do, I don't know. I want to do something. That's a good question. That's a good point though. Negan1, I appreciate the idea. Let me see if there's any other questions that I missed. But, so 1123 is a good episode, a good setup episode for 1124. And just 1124, it's just like, I don't know. I don't know how good it can be, right? Like, what has to happen in 1124 for you to be like, man, that's a good show. That's a good, good episode or a good ending. I just don't know. Like, I just don't think Rick's going to show up. It just doesn't fit. Because I've always said that you can't bring in stuff in a finale if it's an ending. You can't have stuff that's going to open the story up again. You have to have a conclusion. It can't be like, it's like you're at a party and you keep walking by to say goodbye to everybody, but you never get towards the door for you to leave. Hey, how we doing? Just want to say I'm out of here, blah, blah, blah. You can go to another room. Hey, I'm out of here, blah, blah, blah. And you can never leave yet. You can't ever accomplish actually leaving. And at the end of a show, a movie, there has to be a conclusion. It has to have a beginning, a middle, and an ending. Right? So, to me, I don't want to base it on it has to have Rick in it or it sucks. Because I'm thinking that Rick's not going to show up. If he does, great. But I'm not expecting it. I want that, because what I'm expecting is that the Commonwealth falls. Pamela Milton is going to get overrun. She may even die. She probably gets locked up for what she done, but she may have to work in a labor camp. It'd be something like that. Like, oh, she's working over there. But I don't think she dies. Sebastian already died. Lance already died. I don't think she needs to die. I think Yumiko becomes the judge, just like Michonne. I think everybody takes back their communities Alexandria is taken back. Hilltop is taken back. And I don't know who's going to run actually Commonwealth. It makes sense for it to be Ezekiel because he was running the kingdom. And it also makes sense to be Mercer. And that's part of the potential spoilers as well. I think that works, but we'll see if it actually happens. So the big things about it, I'm expecting that we're going to have our conclusion. The rumor that's been for a long time is that Rosita dies. So I'm thinking Rosita's going to die. My red theory were that it could be Aaron or Jerry. Thinking more Jerry. Tommy and Annie and Rosita were my 4 left to happen. And if Rosita dies, great. But does Tommy die? I don't think so because he's got to save Judith. Does he save Judith and then die? I don't know. That would be pretty crappy. But that could be. We'll have to see. Does Jerry die? Definitely could happen. And then Annie. What happens with her? Xmas Girl 304 Q&A. When Mercer gets jailbroke, will he put his orange armor back on to fight with our group? Good question. I would think so because that's his iconic look. It's not like, so I think the Commonwealth troopers are going to be like, well, there's going to be a divide of them too. And I don't know the lady's name that's with Pamela Milton, but she's like the female Mercer now. Like she's the person running the Commonwealth troopers because Mercer was put in jail and she actually arrests him. So I think she has to flip the script and join the group to go against the Walkers to work together because clearly Pamela Milton released the Walkers with B-17. She told Vickers, that makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you. Or is it Rose? I don't know. Rose. We'll go with I don't know. I don't know what to call her. I don't want to say the wrong name. But Rose Vickers, is that her name? No. But she is probably going to have to. She has to see that Pamela Milton's terrible. That we already know that, right? Because she already knows. So Vickers. So Vickers, she is the person that's with Pamela Milton. And she knows that Pamela Milton ordered the Walkers potentially. Either way, she knows that Pamela Milton's priority is the estate or the people of power. So that usually doesn't work well. We know about the society and the whatever. And remember the paintings that was on the wall that Daryl saw? The crown, the people fighting? We still haven't seen that yet. I'm guessing it happens in 1124. That was our theory a while ago, that we saw the foreshadowing with Daryl, with the money, the Walker arm laying there, the suitcase, the painting, the mural of people fighting, Walkers fighting, and the people losing power. And I'm sure Pamela Milton's going to lose power. I don't know who's going to get caught in the crossfire. And, where's baby Coco? Why does Rosita have to go out her way to find him or find her? Because if, they've been hinting at Rosita's death like so many times. Like, oh, this, or the Commonwealth armor and this, and working. It's just been so many things have been building up. It's almost like it has to happen now, right? Like it's just so weird if it doesn't happen. And I'm like, I don't have high expectations for the finale because majority of shows have a terrible finale. The idea of the show being wrapped up in a way that's rewarding for us is a difficult task. It is, but it isn't, right? That's why I ask, why is it, what would have to be in the episode for you to be rewarding? Juan, Georgie storyline. Yeah, well, so Georgie was just brought in for the exit of Maggie. And Virgil was brought in for the exit of Michonne and also to bring back Connie. Where's Virgil? They do mention Georgie when Pamela Milton and Maggie are talking when they're out hunting. So I think that was the only time they're really going to reference it. I don't think Georgie's going to show up. I don't think CRM's going to show up. I don't think Rick's going to show up. I don't think Morgan's going to show up. Like Crum, CTFcom, Esports says, Rick and Morgan definitely show up. That would be a big ask because Rick has been doing his own thing for years. Morgan has been doing his own thing on a different show and a different timeline. So the timelines just don't match it up either. So, there's just been a lot of plot holes and dead ends and stuff that they just glanced over. And they spent a lot of time on Mercer being shown and told that he's not the person in charge. He's there to protect the Commonwealth in his eyes, but Pamela Milton says he's there to protect them and her and the people of power. And it's just like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's ending whether we like it or not. And I just don't know what the big moments are going to be. You kind of know. It's like there's just no way that Pamela Milton wins. There's just no way that our group is decimated and taken out. I thought we were supposed to see Lucille, right? Like I thought the word was that Jeffrey Dean Morgan's wife, Hillary Burton Morgan, was supposed to film a cameo or something for 11/23. Maybe got moved to 11/24. But that remains to be seen. We haven't seen that yet. Maybe that was again. Because there's been so much misinformation going around and so many different theories that we'll see if you're there too. So, yeah, we'll see if she shows up in 11/24. And so the potential spoilers, let me just go through it on my phone. So I want to make sure that I got it the right way or the right stuff because I don't want to mess it up. Okay. So it says the potential spoilers. Let's get into those guys again. Spoiler warning if you don't want to know some of this information too. So the potential spoilers that I think are more legit than other stuff. Because let me see if I have that. I should have saved the other photos of the other potential spoilers. But they were like way off for 11/23. It just and they just sounded off. When you have the fan fiction stuff, you can tell how people write, right? You can tell how stuff goes. Yeah, I don't even see where they are, which is fine because it's junk. But let's talk about the ones that I kind of think may happen. It makes more sense. So again, spoiler warning if you're worried about that too. So yeah, Pamela gets saved by the CRM. Those are the ones that I don't think are true. So I don't think that's in there too. So deaths. The deaths that I can confirm that I know for a fact are happening on this. I'm just reading this. They're not my facts. They're just there too. So it's going to sound like that. Are Rosita, Luke, and Jules. So those are what this person thinks. Jules dies surrounded by walkers, and Rosita gets bit while carrying baby Coco, similar to what happened to Andrea in the comics. I don't know how Luke dies. Possible deaths. Aaron. Nobody saw him filming for this episode, even though he's in the trailer for it, so it makes sense. Annie, that I think, he said he wasn't present in any of the studios. Well, he's clearly in the episode because we see him in the trailer for 11/24. Annie. The actress, just like Aaron, disappeared from the set during this episode. The fact that people saw Negan taking the walkers into the woods also suggests that he had nothing to lose anymore. Negan will lead some of the walkers into the woods and disappear, leaving his fate open-ended, leaving plenty of space open for Dead City or to take place in the future. So Negan going into the woods fits for the his getaway in the comic where he just walks away, and then we see him again, and here's Negan. Don't know what's going to happen with all that, but in the behind the scenes video thing, there's a little thing. I'm going to break it down in another video, but it happens very quickly, and it says Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and that's a wrap on Negan, or that's a wrap on Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and he's by the woods with Maggie. So it kind of fits around there too. The ending. There's a minor time skip. There's a monument they raised at the Commonwealth to pay tribute to those who died fighting against the Walkers and Pamela Milton on that day. Mercer and Ezekiel have a speech there. They're the new leaders of the Commonwealth. On that scene, we have Judith, Gabriel, Yumiko, Daryl, Princess, Kelly, Connie, Magna, Elijah, Jerry, Lydia, Eugene, Max, and their baby. So it looks like Eugene and Max have a baby. Well, there's got to be more than a minor time skip. It's got to be about 10 months, right? Or so, because that's how much. Because they say 9 months, but it's 10 months, 40 weeks for it. So those are some things that I'm like, oh, okay, they kind of make sense. And then we go to there. Soldiers of the Commonwealth drop their armor, and they all are dressed like Rick in season 1. This was the way the producers paid tribute to Rick during the episode. So how does Rick dress in season 1? And everyone's going to look like Rick? That I don't know about that one. At Alexandria, Carol took over the community and acts as their new leader. Maggie is back at the hilltop, and they rebuild the community. Judith ends up telling Daryl about Rick and Michonne. The last scene has Daryl leaving Alexandria on his bike to look for Rick. So what does he bike all the way to France? That don't make sense. What's he gonna do? Speed away and then get captured? Which he could. So take this with a huge grain of salt. There is a post-credit scene, but I have no information about it. It was recorded after they were done shooting the final episode, and they were very secretive about it. I have a legit source who works doing VFX on the show. He said that the only thing he could tell me was that, in fact, there is a post-credit scene, and that it's something they decided to add at the last minute. Might be bait or not, we shall see. So, you decided to do this at the last minute? Well, let's talk about that. Because you should have a if you had a post-credit scene for World Beyond that was 2 seasons long, you better have a post-credit scene or scenes after the major show of The Walking Dead. You're basically copying the Marvel way of doing things because it's from the comic book stuff there, and they were ready to go. And they have the movies, and they have a post-credit scene or mid-credit scene and a final thing. They have some movies have 3 scenes in them, which is what we look forward to. We're ready for that too. So the last part of it here is, what I can say is, keep your expectations about Rick in check. He isn't showing during the episode, and that I can confirm. If you have any hopes of seeing Rick saving the Commonwealth, just don't do that to yourself. It isn't happening. If anything, Rick will be at the post-credit scene. So like I've said time and time again, it doesn't fit for Rick to show up. I have the most faith in these potential spoilers that I've seen for the episode. Some of them make sense, and I don't know if it's all going to come true or none. Maybe none of it does, but I think some of it could. The finale event live, the person's thing here is November 20th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, East Coast time. It's all of the cast, the current cast, with Scott Gimple, Greg Nicotero, Angela Kang, and add special guests, is what it says. So the special guests, I hope, are Rick, Stephen Yeun, previous cast members. That'd be pretty awesome. Abraham, whoever wants to show up. Because it would be pretty amazing for that as well. But yeah, so that's the latest potential spoilers for it. I did see a recent video. It's like grainy. Somebody took it from a spot they weren't supposed to be recording it from, and it looked like, I don't know if it was a church or what it was, but it looked like nuns go after this group of people, and the people take out the nuns. And I think they said it was for the Daryl show. And so I don't know what's going on there or what, but man, it was kind of something. So we'll have to see what actually happens with the Daryl stuff. Will they explain Heath, Virgil, and Georgie? I'm not holding my breath on any of that, that's for sure. What if Rick finds his brother in the post-credit scene? That would make sense for people who know about, his brother and stuff from the comic, but there's been no mention of that on the show. That makes no sense, in my opinion. I think the easiest way to do a post-credit scene is Rick in a hospital that is actually busy in the CRM. You go into the room, he wakes up, and that's the scene. I think that makes sense. But again, I don't work for The Walking Dead, so we'll have to see how it goes down for that. But yeah, those are the information that I have for that. I think the rumor is, I don't know if it's been confirmed 100%, but Dead City has been greenlit for a second season. which is kind of crazy that we didn't even see the first season yet, and they're already going to do a 6-episode season of that too. So, Dragon says, Q&A, thoughts? Daryl runs through walkers, bursts into the clinic shouting for help, then is shown knocked out on the floor, possibly a way to grab him for his French adventure. Nah, man. I think that's going to be, I would assume the episode's going to start with Daryl going to the clinic, and going to be the way the episode ends. So Daryl goes into the clinic, gets kidnapped by who? Who's taking him? And then we don't see Daryl the rest of the finale? Come on. That doesn't make sense. Daryl needs to be a big part of what happens there, and I think so. Do you think anyone will get Gabriel's comic death? No, I don't think that's going to happen. It would have happened a long time ago. Yeah, I mean, so there's going to be a lot of talk, because we have a week before we see the finale. So I would assume there's already been a lot of episode talk, a lot of stuff, potential spoilers, a lot of interviews, a lot of crazy stuff. So I think it's going to be a lot of people saying a lot of different things. And it's going to be probably a lot of theories and speculation. Only time will tell what's true and what's not, who actually survives, who doesn't. But from what I could tell in my potential spoiler video, I show you the filming photos who was actually seen filming the final episode. And even in the behind the scenes, they show you a rap. That's a rap on Jeffrey Dean Morgan. That's a rap on Melissa McBride. That's a rap on Norman Reedus. That's a rap on Kari Payton. That's a rap. They show you all the different people that they rap on there too. And it's Maggie, and it's Daryl, and it's Negan, and it's Carol, and it's Ezekiel. And it's people that survive. Daryl's kidnapped by the nuns. So, I mean, it's just a lot of crazy talk, and it's all in good fun. But, we'll just have to see how it plays out. Bam Bam's Boys Q&A. Bri, what do you think is going to happen with Annie and the baby? And based on that, Negan's response. So I've thought for a while that Annie's going to die, right? Or be kidnapped. I don't know how far along she is to give birth. It doesn't fit to have birth right away. She could lose the baby now. There could be complications because the doctor at the Commonwealth did say about, I think it was like low amniotic fluid or something. And it's very rare to have, I think. And is what I looked it up after, checking. I was like, oh, what could happen with that? So I don't know. I mean, I just think, because if Annie dies, does Negan just go out on his own, nomad style, and just go away like he does in the comic? Why would Maggie go after Negan? Like, we did see, and also in 11/23, there were some nice little moments when Annie comes behind Negan and hugs him, kind of like Lori does for Rick. Daryl and Judith kind of talk about Michonne, and they kind of talk about some things. Negan talks with Ezekiel yet again for the third time. But they talk about on the train, why did you do that for me? Why are we going to do this? And he's like, I know you guys are better than me, and I'm with this and that, and I wanted you to know that if you don't know that by now, you haven't been paying attention. And basically saying that he feels bad for what happened, and he would, do anything for the group now, and he was willing to die for the group, and that's why he told the warden that he was the spy, and blah, blah, blah. And then you see Maggie heard the whole conversation. So then Maggie's like, oh, yeah, maybe he's changed. Maybe he's this. Right? So I just hope it's for a reason that we all can justify. And I don't think that Maggie, in the goodness of her heart, would be like, come on, Negan, I'm going to help you. Even though Negan has, does Negan get a pass with Maggie because he saved Herschel? Because he was willing to die for the group? Because Willie was doing this? All that's great, but it will never get rid of the case that he killed Glenn. When he didn't have to at all. He chose Abraham. He did not have to kill Glenn one bit. That would stick with me for the rest of my time. And I'm glad Ezekiel doesn't like Negan for what happened. Even though Negan was never there, it was all the other people that were there, Jared and all these other people. But I just hope it makes sense. That's all I can think of there too. Eduardo Sanin Q&A, hi Bri Q&A. If they do a time jump at the end, do you think it will transition to Judith, who has been voicing over, taking Carl's spot? I think somewhat, yeah. I mean, so I'll talk about this in a future video next week. But in the comic, it's Carl sitting in a rocking chair talking to his daughter, Andrea. And that's kind of how it ends, basically, right? There's stuff where Carl kills a walker and Herschel and this, and they go to the Commonwealth, and it's Judge Michonne and blah, blah, blah. But it's a whole big thing there, and it just seems like Judith has taken the place of Carl. More ways than one. Jonathan Wilder Q&A, should Judith join Daryl in the spinoff? No. That doesn't make sense to me, but it could happen. I don't think anybody's going to go with Daryl. But if it's a year older, Judith would be a year older. So what is she, like 13 then? 14? I don't even know how old she's supposed to be. But I think Daryl gets kidnapped. Because why would Daryl just go out on his own? Right? Like, does he feel totally 100% safe after the Commonwealth stuff? Maybe. But again, we'll have to see how it plays out, if it makes sense or not. I mean, there's just a lot of variables that are like, man, that's cheesy, that's hokey, that doesn't make sense at all. But again, we'll have to wait and see how it actually plays out, if it makes sense. I heard a rumor that the finale from the critics, or the sample size, or whatever, the people that check it beforehand, whatever I'm blanking on the word, but it's like a test group or test subject, or a viewing of it, a screener viewing of it, that people were underwhelmed, that they didn't like the ending at all. So then, I guess it was Angela Kang or Gimple said in an interview, I don't know who actually said it because I didn't see the actual who gave credit to it, was that they had the ending and the final scene isn't the final scene anymore. It changed in post-production. And also the way it sounds, like in the potential spoilers, they did a post-credit scene because they decided to do it later on, last minute, because if it ends and we don't get anything about Rick or whoever, we're like, what? That's it? The end? Come on now. Come on now with it. Right? Christy asked a good question. Do you think it could be Padre that takes Daryl? Now, that would be a great way to connect Fear the Walking Dead. But Padre is all about taking kids, not adults. And I think the Padre thing is going to be really dumb, like it already is really, because season 7 of Fear the Walking Dead is the stupidest season in the universe, the Walking Dead universe. It's the worst hodgepodge mess that's all over the place. They build stuff up, and then it's lackluster, and there's no war, and I'm going to take that tower. And then you have a chance to do it, and then you burn it down, it's terrible, and you go away, and it's just dumb. Padre is all about taking kids. But what about the adults in the group? They should be killed right away by Padre. But they ain't. Morgan's going to live, and Victor Strand's going to live, and all the people are going to live, right? And pregnant women, yeah, exactly. So it just, I don't know. I think it would be a good way to do that, and I hope Padre, they set themselves up by Padre only taking pregnant women and kids, right? That was the only thing they wanted. But they could have done it in a way that they take people that are useful to them. That's all you had to say. You didn't have to say, it's this. But the writers are terrible, in my opinion, of that show. And they have been for a long time. And they painted themselves in another corner. It's not going to make sense. But we'll have to see how season 8 plays out next year. So other than that, guys, we're getting closer. I'll have a live stream next Sunday as well before the episode airs. There. I don't know if it's going to be available on AMC Plus or early, if people are going to get a hold of it. And because if they are, it's going to spread like wildfire. Just like the spoilers, just like all the information that goes around. It's like, here, have you seen this? And it's funny that I talked about the one spoilers about Rick having amnesia and the CRM blows up the Commonwealth, and Pamela Milton is saved by the Commonwealth, and Rick, and it's just like they're kind of laughable. Like, that's just fan fiction and theories. It just doesn't make sense. I highly doubt Angela Kang and the writers' room in Gimple would end it that way, with CRM blowing up the Commonwealth. But who knows, man? Crazier things have happened, especially in zombie shows and movies, for sure. Jonathan Wilder, will we see Ghost Glenn in the last 2 episodes, or the Negan and Maggie Waggy spinoff? You won't see a Ghost Glenn in 1123. That doesn't happen. And I don't think you're going to see a Ghost Glenn anywhere like Star Wars. Donnie T, will Season 8 of Fear be the last? I don't think so. I think they're going to keep making that show for a couple more seasons. There's been no word if Season 8 is going to be the final one. There was some guy that wrote it in some small little article that he heard it. And then I talked about it in a video, and I haven't heard it since. So Fear the Walking Dead needs to improve. I'm rooting for the show to get better. With The Walking Dead being done, bring some of those writers over from The Walking Dead to Fear the Walking Dead and just have better writing. Season 6 of Fear the Walking Dead is good. It is the best season, in my opinion. People love Season 3 and Season 6. That's 2 out of 7 seasons. Get those writers from Season 6. Make them write Season 8, Season 9, or whatever seasons of Fear the Walking Dead. You can do it. They could do better with it. There's a lot of room for improvement there. But, I don't know. Season 6 was great, followed by a terrible Season 7, for sure. Jonathan Wilder. What if Negan met Eminem? I think he asked that already. I don't know. It probably wouldn't go well for Eminem. Xmas Girl 304 Q&A. Do you think during Judith's surgery under anesthesia, she sees all the characters that we lost throughout the series? I don't know. That's a great question, Xmas Girl. I think that would be a great way. Well, Judith doesn't know Glenn, and Judith doesn't know a lot of these characters. Judith was very young with all that were there, so that would be forced for us to think that Judith, like, we wouldn't see Lori, we wouldn't see anybody from the Quarry, we wouldn't see Herschel, we wouldn't see these people because Judith would have no recollection of them too. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do, but I do think that they're going to have callbacks, Easter eggs, connections, flashbacks, and stuff. I hope they just do it in a way that's rewarding and exciting and worth watching. Now, I don't know if it's going to be like forced stuff. Again, like, when Fear the Walking Dead forced things, like I always say, it's an oval peg in a round hole. Like, some of it kind of fits, but it all doesn't fit, and it doesn't not fit either. So we'll have to see what they do with it. We'll see what happens with Rosita. I mean, that's the biggest thing. We've heard that since they were filming, and filming got done in like March, and it's finally coming to fruition. Some people thought it was in 11/23. But it didn't happen. 11/24, we see the trailer where she's on top of the ambulance. She jumps towards the wall for Eugene and Father Gabriel. She's holding baby Coco. We see walkers with the windows and the glass. We see, there's some callbacks already that we see from the trailer. And we're getting there, guys. So we're 1 week away from the return of The Walking Dead and the final episode of The Walking Dead. Now, I've already watched Tulsa King on Paramount Plus. That's with Sylvester Stallone, written and whatever by Taylor Sheridan, who does Yellowstone. Yellowstone comes back tonight. It's a 2-hour premiere, 8 o'clock on Paramount. I'm excited for Yellowstone Season 5. I've heard that the season's really good. Tulsa King was a good way to start. Good episode. Good pilot episode. There's only one episode on there. I'm watching The Peripheral on Amazon Prime. It's a good sci-fi, different kind of show. I know it's a book. I know Amazon wants you to buy the book if you're there too. So I think it's pretty cool to recommend to watch that. And what else are we watching? We started watching White Lotus on HBO. We're 2 episodes in. It's okay. It's a different kind of show as well. And then, so we're on football, of course. SLN Q&A. Are you going to be upset if Rick doesn't show up? No, I won't be upset. I'm not expecting Rick to show up, and I have not been having any expectations to see Rick whatsoever because it doesn't fit. It just doesn't. But I know there's a lot of videos, most likely. Again, I don't watch other YouTube channels, but I'm sure everyone's talking about Rick's going to show up in the finale. It's going to be happening here. He's going to save the day. He's going to save the group from the Commonwealth with the CRM. Him and Michonne are going to show up. This is going to happen. Proof, confirmed, explained. We're going to do all that. Check it out. Check this article out. Check this video out. Come on. Come on with it. Never been like that. Give it to you legit. When I see spoilers, I'll share them with you. If I think they're fake, I'll tell you. If I think they have some validity, I'll tell you too. But that's just how I do it here, and I've been doing it for years. So, guys, that's my time. I've been here for an hour. I appreciate you guys joining me today. I'll be back next Sunday for the final episode of The Walking Dead. It's kind of crazy to say, but all good things must come to an end. The Walking Dead has changed my life. It's made us all come together. It's a community. It's a great thing, and I do hope they still have conventions for the cast at different times, because it's a good way to still have people come together. I would love to have people come together for different shows, different panels, different stuff as well. It was always fun to talk to fans and people there as well. I was excited to meet people, and I got to meet people in Sonoy and on tours and everything there too. And, you know, it's a great thing that, you know, bonds us. And it's a show. It's a zombie apocalypse show about survival. But it's cool to see. Dragon White Lotus is the vacation show. It's in Hawaii. I think it's 2 seasons right now. And, yeah, it's a decent kind of show. I don't know how many episodes and stuff it is. But it's worth checking out. It's something different. And I like to see where that goes, too. So, all right, guys. I'll be back next Sunday from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, and I'm glad I was back this Sunday. And again, I apologize for having to be away for my grandmother-in-law's funeral. Well, I guess it was viewing. She was buried in New York, so she, you know, passed away on Friday, had the viewing on Sunday, and then Tuesday she was flown up to New York and was buried, I think, on Thursday on that too. So it's just it's a crazy thing. I mean, she was 97, so it wasn't like she was, you know, a spring chicken and it happened suddenly. It was just time for there. So hopefully you guys are going to be good and safe and sound. I'll be back next Sunday. And, so hopefully your week is good and we're going to make it one way or another. And definitely good to be here with you guys. I truly appreciate all love and support. And remember, guys, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Believe in yourself. You can do it. It's about love, support, staying positive, making memories, getting stuff done. Keep working hard. You can get stuff done. Tonight is 11:23 on AMC, but then Talking Dead, I believe, is Chris Hardwick, Jerry, Cooper Andrews, Mercer, Michael James Shaw, and Denise Huth, executive producer. So if you want to check out Talking Dead, I haven't watched any Talking Dead because it's on so late. I have not watched it one bit. I watched little clips here and there when Eugene was talking about underwear in his room and stuff, and it was really funny. But I'll be back next Sunday, guys. See ya and enjoy.